Fern and I have had quite a number of very big days out in the goldfield because I discovered a hole. Oh my God, did I discover a hole? I went for an explore in the bush and I found a old timers scrape. There's four of them in a row on a very steep hill. And these little scrapes are small. The biggest one is maybe a meter deep and about 3 meters long. The one I was working was only meter and a half, 2 meters long, and 50 centimeters or 2 feet deep. So small hole. And at first I thought it was a loaming pit. I thought it was them trying to chase the reef up the hill. But it wasn't. It was actually where outcroppings of gold bearing quartz were. Because I figured that out when I found 12 gold nuggets. 12 gold nuggets in a single hole on one of the smallest little scrapes. What got me thinking was goodbye. What got me thinking was I want to talk about loss. I want to talk about how you shouldn't be worried if you lose gold. And I'll try to keep this short. It was unusual to find that amount of gold in one area, in one very small patch, especially considering that it was reef gold and how it was presenting was nice big chunks of this reef. Now, every system you use loses gold. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it be a sluicer detector, a gold pan, a dry washer. It does not matter how good the manufacturer claims it is. It does not matter your skill level with it. I guarantee you are losing gold. You can't avoid it. And it's simply just due to numbers, literally volume. If you have a high banker that can process 5 cubic meters, oh, that's a lot for a high banker, but let's just say you have a wash plant that can process 5 cubic meters of soil. Do you think that in that 5 cubic meters of soil there are going to be clay clumps that don't get broken down properly? Do you think that there is going to be little pockets of gravel and dirt stuck on rocks? The spray bars or the trommel or whatever system is washing the rocks may not get to. The same thing with a pan. Do you think that in your classifier there could be a little bit of very fine gold trapped inside a piece of quartz that you cannot see and you would never know was there until you crushed it? What if there are, again, clay clumps that don't break down 100%? What if there is no gold in the clay, but the clay that you do have in your pan sticks to some of the gold and washes it out? There is so many variables when it comes to prospecting, and there are so many opportunities for gold to disappear out of your system, especially when you start increasing the volume. So the more dirt you work, the more chance that you're going to lose gold. The greater the chance you're going to lose gold. Now, the little hole that I was in that I found those 12 gold nuggets, when I look at the workings, how they were done, how far the dirt's been thrown out of the hole, like the tailings, the waste rock, and the sort of unclean nature of it. Normally, with these old time workings, you will see hand stacked rock off to one side for the big pieces of waste rock. They'll move them off and neatly stack them, and then you'll get all the really small stuff that they broke up discarded in a pile off to one side, usually sides and above the hole, not below the hole. In this case, there was tailings spread all around one side and below the hole. Now the reason they didn't do it below the hole is because you're working with gravity. Normally your encampment and whatnot would be downhill. You wouldn't walk uphill to your camp at the end of the day, at least not in this area. And it's quite a steep hill. So he's thrown his tailings below him, which is not normal. It's not what you normally see on the fields. And my hunch is that this was an unskilled miner, someone who hadn't done it maybe who hadn't done it very often, or maybe he wasn't meant to be there. Whatever the case, it looks like he was in a rush to get this done, and that's why he discarded a whole bunch of ore. And it just raises that really important point. you're going to lose gold, and that's okay. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, like, that guy knocked out a little reef that would have netted him ounces and ounces of gold if it was as rich as what I found metal detecting there. And the same goes for your sluice. You will collect the majority of it, even if your sluice is 90% efficient because you stuffed up the setup, or you aren't running your equipment as efficiently as it could be run. You will still catch a bunch of gold, more gold than you had that morning. The only issue comes when you set it up to a point where it is so outrageously skewed, like way too steep of an angle, something like that, as opposed to just being a regular sluice angle. Then you might lose a little bit more, but you probably won't lose all of it. You'll probably lose another 10%, another 15%, and at the end of the day, you still have 100% more gold than you started with. Don't concentrate so much on the losses. Instead, concentrate on the possible retention. So you're at 0% when you started the day. How much gold can you retain from your spot? And you do that by slowly and meticulously putting together your gear, but also in a way that doesn't eat up so much of your time that you don't get to dig. Because again, it's a volume game. The more dirt you process, the more gold you get. Because if you're only losing a few percent of your total gold, then you're collecting a massive percent of it. And if you don't move volume of good, rich pay dirt, you won't collect very much gold. So I hope that gives you a little bit of confidence in your equipment to just go out and give it a shot. Everyone loses gold. Old timers working some of the richest gold bearing reefs in the entire world discarded some of it for me to find 150 years later. And you're going to be doing exactly the same thing. You'll lose 2, 5, 10% of gold out of your sluice, out of your gold pan. And in 50 years, someone will come along to that creek and dig up the piece of gold that you lost and think that they had a fantastic day and dream about what the old timers were doing back where we are currently. I'll leave it there on that note. Like I said, I'm exhausted and I probably rambled on too long. I hope you have a great and safe day out there, guys. And until next time, I'm going to go have a nap.